All right. Hello, and welcome back to the C Show. We're here today at my apartment in North Philly, and I wanted to first start off with talking about Randy Orton, and this is really because he's come back, from his neck injury. There's the memes about him. He's like, dude, I was playing Elden Ring, and we'll talk more about that later. But I texted you last night, and I wanted to talk about a specific RKO meme, and you said something else that I thought was completely wild.
Okay, so hold on. Let me pull this up. So I thought, because you said don't say anything else, and you posted something in our doc. So I'm like, all right, I will keep quiet. But I actually did look this up the other day as well. So there's this fake tweet, right? That looks like Randy Orton and says, and this was right after John Cena turning heel.
Okay.
So for everyone complaining, just know that John Cena turning heel is absolutely perfect. Think about it. What would John's last run be without authentic John Cena sucks chants? He's been getting those "we're just glad to see your actions" for a while now. Now, if y'all excuse me, I'm going to go my wife, Viper out.
I did see that. I thought it was just some generic like meme. I'll bleep that out later, and I'll cut that. But I wanted, what I was reminded of was in college at the house that we would hang out at, that Connor and I would hang out at on the third floor. We would be hanging out, we'd be drinking beers, we'd be eating sandwiches, and we'd be watching stuff on a Chromecast. He got to look on my phone. He knows what it is. He knows what it is. So here we go.
Look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
Yeah.
Still brutal.
Still brutal. So, yep. Just another weekend in great and offensive memes. All right, welcome back, and this is the C Show. We're here talking about wrestling, following up on last Friday's SmackDown, so March 7th. It was actually in Philadelphia, and shame on us because we both live here in Philadelphia, and we were both unable to attend. I actually was down in Virginia celebrating my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom, if you are listening. It's tomorrow. She turned 60, so shout out, Mom. But a really a pretty fantastic show for SmackDown out of the ones that I've seen so far, but nothing like Raw, and we'll get more to that later, right?
Yeah, I thought as a whole this was a great weekend. I really enjoyed both shows. Friday, I was out on a double date with the wife, so we did not go. We actually were looking at tickets a while ago. They were just pretty expensive, even for the nosebleeds, and they only do half the stadiums. They have to cut off half the arenas they cut off backstage. We're like,
true.
So, any pay-per-view, though, we're in there.
Yeah,
but,
no, we got to figure that out.
Or, again, next Raw, absolutely. Because, do you know the last time that they were in Philadelphia?
I don't.
October 21st, my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Where I also couldn't go because it was the middle of the season. So, next time, I swear.
Next time you swear, absolutely.
For sure.
So, the show on Friday started off with the Randy Orton Town Hall. And, Connor, were you satisfied?
I was. As soon as he came to the ring, again, as soon as I hear the music, right, I sang it for everybody last week, right? Go back and listen to that if you haven't. It's do the arms.
Let's do the arms.
Right? Get up on the turnbuckles, right, and throw the arms up. And he did. So I was incredibly satisfied, right? He took an extra moment, right? He really soaked it all in, right? Because, again, he's just coming back here, right? And, again, someone who thought his career was over in the past from before. And then immediately Randy Orton starts talking about John Cena and the heel turn. Exactly. Gets booed from the whole crowd, and then gives Cena a little bit of a rundown here.
Yeah. There was really clever wordplay from Randy Orton that I loved. And he was talking about how John Cena was on the top, and then he went to the bottom, a rock bottom. So good. But it just reminded me of that Kurt Angle promo where he was talking about This is a man's world.
Wrestling Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
You're just a boy in a man's world.
You're just a boy in a man's world, and I'm a man who likes to play with boys. And then he pauses and he goes, wait. Yeah. I love that in wrestling. I love double entendres.
Yeah, so after he gives that little rundown, right, kind of addresses why he's here, and that's talking about Kevin Owens. Starts by saying, right, that they are both habitual line crossers, right, that they've always crossed the line over their careers to get the job done. And then he kind of goes on to be like, is KO doing it to get the job done? Or is this who he's become, right? He's jealous of Cody's gold, jealous because Sammy's a bigger star than him. That's why he tried to hurt him.
Yep.
And then my favorite part was when Randy just kind of looks in the camera and goes, Kevin Owens, you've gone pissed me off.
He was so red.
Oh, yeah, he was getting so red.
He was very red. I loved it. He was very passionate, and it was very, again, a very impassioned plea to Kevin Owens to knock off the naughtiness.
And then he mentions a really big thing as far as like his character and all. So basically, evil Randy is back, as we would say, because he talks about hearing the voices in his head during like his biggest heel runs. He always talked about like the voices in his head and what they were telling him to do, and that's literally his theme song, Voices. And he said how he heard the voices whispering to kick Kevin Owens' head off, and that he would show that Pat McAfee is only the second best punter in WWE. So I thought that was beautiful.
Okay, there's the connection. I missed that. That went over my head. Pat was not great this week. I'm gonna go. We'll talk more about that later. Then we had some Aldous Green and Tiffy backstage, but then right into Tiffany Stratton and Piper Niven. Tiffany Stratton, we talked about last week, Prior Lake's finest. I was looking this up. Prior Lake is like 2 or 3 towns over from where my parents grew up in Minnesota. Oh, wow. And my grandparents would go to the casino there, my mom's parents, and just play bingo like every weekend. So that's my
Hell
connection.
Yeah.
That's my connection to Prior Lake. Shout out to Tiffany. She was fantastic against Piper. There was just the Swanton Bomb was sick. Not to steal your spot here, but it just didn't feel like Piper was there. You know.
Yeah, Piper's really been playing second fiddle to, Chelsea Green's song being, the, what she called the selective serve. I don't know. She does something that's not Secret Service. It's something else that she called. I don't remember what pun she uses for, but like, that's just really been her bit. And before that, she was still just the side character to Chelsea Green. Like, I think she got a match in the tournament for King or Queen of the Ring, but, not a whole lot. And again, like, I think Tiffy's really good. Tiffy can make anyone look good. And real quick, a point of this match was that backstage they were talking, and Chelsea Green's like, oh, like, I need my bodyguard for our match later that we'll get to. And then the GM's like, actually, they're going to go have a match right now. So, but no, Tiffy was awesome. So she does this one swanton where she goes like over the ropes on her knees and like springboards to it.
Yeah.
She goes to do that jumping like back spring elbow she does. And did you see when Piper Niven just like in one motion scooped her and dumped her on the floor?
Oh yeah.
That was crazy. And then you mentioned before that real swanton bomb she hit, but like a lot of people will immediately go into the flip. Like she dove out full extension and then tucked, which is wild. Like it looked like she was going to break her neck the whole way.
And that's the gymnastics background there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So. And then, Tiffy hits the prettiest moonsault ever and wins.
In the danger zone.
So Tiffy's celebrating, and then she's jumped by Charlotte Flair.
Boo.
And I was watching this with my wife, and my wife goes, "Why is she in like a D&D rogue outfit?" And I just replied, "Sneak attack damage."
Sneak attack damage.
So yeah, Charlotte slides in the ring here, gives a little chop block to the back of Tiffy's leg, and then puts her in the figure 8, right? Her version of her father's figure 4. Right, holds it there for a while. Right, Tiffy's bugging out. Obviously, it hurts, and then they eventually separate them.
Gotcha. Cool. They cut to another Cena recap, Cena heel turn recap. They're really gonna milk this. and building up to it, and they do a lot more in Raw, talking about that. This wasn't in the recording that I saw, but you had a Nick Aldis picture recap for the tag team matchup.
Oh yeah, so he walks up to this whiteboard, and there's pictures of like all the different tag teams in SmackDown involved,
Like a police investigation.
sort of.
Okay.
And
Less yarn.
less yarn. It was all
Okay.
one marker that looked like it was dying.
That's very on brand. For
And so, like, literally starts talking. It's like, oh, like, Marcy Machine Guns were champions, and this, and this, like, showing the interconnected story of all the tag teams and kind of how we ended up here. Because he said that that next week DIY will go against the Street Profits for the number one. For the tag team titles. But this week there's a tag team scramble that we're gonna get to for number one contender.
Yes, and I did get to see that at least. So you put the match here because I was a little confused. Like, so what are the general rules of a tag team match?
So in a regular tag team match where there's only two teams, it's one person from each team goes, and you have to tag that partner in and out. If you actually watch, you'll see there's a tiny rope that they'll hold in their hands.
Okay.
And that's like how far away they're allowed to get from the corner. Like technically, if you're not able to grab that while you're making a tag, it's not supposed to count. But the thing here is that there were 3 tag teams, but only two wrestlers in the ring at a time. So that meant that one team would still be left out completely until they could make a tag in. Again, when you make a tag to your partner, it's voluntary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be tagging in anyone not on my team. So a lot of this was kind of chasing getting the blind tag, right? Or the unknown tag to make yourself the legal man.
Gotcha. Very, very interesting. Thank you. So we had Los Garzas, we had the Motor City Machine Guns, and then we also had Pretty Deadly in this triple threat contender or number one contender tag team match. Say that 10 times fast.
No, I would watch this 10 times fast if I had to.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
Like at 125 or like 1.5.
However fast you need me to.
Okay, cool.
So again, a lot of really fun stuff, like with the blind tag and all, like, right, just ending up in the wrong corner, getting tagged out, arguing about it, then going back to your corner. Los Garzas do like stereo moonsaults onto the floor, like when they were on the opposite corners, and they both did a moonsault onto the pile of the other two teams. That was super awesome.
The athleticism there on display from the luchadors all weekend was incredible.
I was trying to find the name of it and I couldn't. Pretty Deadly does that one like double team bulldog move.
Okay.
That looked awesome.
Yeah.
So I will be doubling back to that. But that was super pretty.
I loved Pretty Deadly's theme song. I am a sucker for disco strings. You put disco strings in anything and I'm in.
It is very, I'm not surprised that they're, not ready for it. And again, like, that's perfect. Like, that's what this show is.
Yeah, exactly.
Saban hits a beautiful tornado DDT out of that front corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Saban hits the 5-hole dive where they hold up the ropes for him and he goes through the other guy's legs. So that was awesome.
Oh, the 5-hole. I loved the 5-hole. I felt like Chris Saban was entirely robbed of everything. Like he should have. They should have won that match because of all of the. They should have won the match, but they did some. They had some awesome moves on display.
Yeah, and then so Motor City Machine Guns are up. They're trying to hit the Skull and Bones to win the match. Pretty Deadly breaks it up and then wins with a backslide, which is like uncharacteristic. It's considered like quote unquote like a cheap way to win a match or a way to like win and still make everybody look good because you didn't get like pinned normally. It was an interesting choice, but like I'm glad Pretty Deadly starting to get their flowers, like, and get to do a little more. Like they've kind of been few and far between. I think they're good. I think they're really good.
Yeah, no, they were fun to watch. All right. After that triple threat match, we had what I'm going to call the Bianca Brouhaha. So we had Naomi, Bianca finally face off after Elimination Chamber last week, trying to get to the bottom of who attacked Jade Cargill a few months ago. Something that I really wanted to talk about here, and you noted it in our notes, but was just the outfits. I was thinking about it at first because Naomi and Bianca were both all in black, right? They both dressed for like a funeral.
Yeah.
And then Jade comes out in the white, and it like this may seem dumb and obvious, but that's like all intentional, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The example that I want to call out, and I think that's like the easiest for people to remember, is Return of the Jedi, right? Luke in the movie, he's wearing black, right? Most of the movie, he's been tempted by the dark side. He's figuring it out. He knows that Vader is his father. Spoilers for a 40-year-old movie. But at the end, as he's like coming back to the light side, defeating evil, you see him undo his I guess jacket thing at the top, and there's white underneath, right? He was good the entire time, right? So obviously black, bad, white, good. So I thought that was really interesting, just how like costuming is thought of in WWE in that way, where Jade's coming out to redeem herself and also get her revenge for her injuries.
Yeah. So many of them have such amazing outfits. They have really talented people working on it. And again, it's the people like, Seth Rollins or when Jade wears something wild that people like, there's constantly just great stuff that they are wearing.
Absolutely.
That is put together for them, made for them to be able to pull off their moves and the other things in. I'm also just glad you started here because I was certain the first thing you were going to talk about was the reaction to the Sixers at the arena.
Oh, well, yeah, I wanted to soften the blow for you. I mean, I like the Sixers too, don't get me wrong, but things are not good for the Sixers right now. And you could hear that in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Arena.
Yeah, as they were coming back from commercial, you know what they do? Oh, we're in wherever, we're in Buffalo, here are the Bills, we're in Philadelphia. It's like, here are the Sixers. Boos. Tremendous boos.
Because usually, like, the sports team would get a pop,
Yeah, like, that should be an easy, like, that's our team, yeah!
You don't think they could get an Eagles player? Like, you don't think they'd ask Jordan Mailata?
I bet that part of it was because the Sixers play in that arena. It was probably going to have to be the Sixers or the Flyers.
Oh.
And I don't know if the Flyers were in town. That would be my guess.
Doy. Of course. Yeah. No. Of course it would be the Sixers. Yes. Yeah, and there was more people at MSG, obviously. MSG, New York City, the mecca of professional wrestling. But the four Sixers in attendance, just to clarify, were Paul George, Jared Butler, Adam Bona, and Gershon Yabusele. Did I say that right? Please tell me I said that right.
I'm so beyond checked out on the Sixers, I can't even tell you. I'm sorry.
Yes. The process is dead. The process is dead.
Long live the process.
Long live the process. All right. And then getting back to Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. Jade comes out and, again, just goes straight at Bianca and Naomi after.
Just to jump you just a touch, because we actually do have finally full confirmation, right?
Yes.
That Naomi admits that she's the one that attacked Jade, right? She was doing some, the way they were speaking about it, dodging the question. I don't remember how you put it in the rundown of how Naomi was speaking.
It was abuser language.
Right? That's what you put?
It was abuser language. Have you've listened to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar? You know that one track where it's just like him arguing with his like significant other with his wife, and it's like that's just what it sounded like. It just sounded like Mr. Morale, and I was like, this is great. I did it for us. I loved that,
and that's sort of a callback because way back there was Rikishi, who's a Fatu, part of the bloodline. Yep. And Naomi's actually married to Jimmy. Oh. Jimmy Uso, Jimmy Fatu. Mm-hmm. And so, like, their dad, Rikishi, there was this whole storyline where he ran over Stone Cold. And, like, eventually they get to him. It's like, why'd you... And it's like, I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. So many people were dying when she was like, I did it for you. I did it for us.
Wow.
So, even a great callback there. So, and then Bianca is like, we're done. Mm-hmm. Naomi says that she should have pushed Jade harder and sooner, and then calls Bianca an ungrateful bitch.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wild. Naomi, have you seen The Sopranos?
Yes.
Okay, she straight up had the neck brace like Christopher.
Yes.
That's all I could think about was Christopher doped up on painkillers and just.
She wore that to the red carpet earlier that week too. She went to the premiere of the Queen of the Ring, wearing the neck brace, and I'm like, that's what this is all about. Fully committing.
Yeah, fully committing to the bit. I mean, it could also be for practical use as well. We're not going to deny that. Anything else on the progression of this storyline?
No, like we said, Jade comes out. Naomi immediately runs away, like, again, cementing even more her heel status of just being like, oh, I'm getting out of Dodge. I know I screwed up, but I'm not facing it.
Yeah, no, why should I ever face consequences?
So she tries to get out the back of the ring. Jade grabs her, throws her off the ring post, hits her with Jaded, right? Hit the post, play the song, right? A storm is coming. So this is obviously going to explode here. I'm interested to see what they'll do with Bianca and kind of some other things surrounding WrestleMania that we can talk about later when we get to Raw.
Nice.
So McIntyre was backstage, and he, again, another person that's like, are you really surprised by what John Cena did? And he's like, this would have never happened if I eliminated John Cena. And whose fault is it that I didn't eliminate John Cena? Again, just pointing, complaining, right? It was Priest's.
Damian Priest.
Right, because he had John Cena dead to rights. Priest hit him with the backslide, right? John Cena won, and that's why this all happened. So again, being able to kind of pass it along and be like, well, it wasn't my fault this all happened.
Again, just like deflecting blame or like just like not acknowledging like, hey, this is what I did. Because McIntyre totally got distracted at the Elimination Chamber as well, and that's what allowed Damian to come in and backslide him. And McIntyre could be all like he can feign ignorance all he wants, but it's kind of repetitive.
Yeah, at some point he's gonna catch up with someone that will maybe finally stop it. I was hoping it would stop after CM Punk. Like, I guess he's still on this feud with the Bloodline, so I don't know. Hopefully soon he gets a hard reset and can kind of get away from this whiny character.
Yeah, it's a little annoying because they've also got those I think it's Cricket Mobile commercials with him being the Scottish Warrior, and it's like, yeah, it's a good thing that you are an action figure because that's what you look like and sound like. Very, very tiny. And then we had another Charlotte Flair promo. Thumbs down.
Yeah. Yeah, so she came out before and attacked Tiffy, right? Now I found her backstage and asked her, she said that she warned Tiffy she would be everywhere Tiffy was, right? Reminds people there are levels to this game, right? I'm the queen. Like, people don't want to bow down to me since the queen's been back. And then B-Fab comes in. And B-Fab's like, no one's interested in bowing down to you anymore. You've been gone a long time. Things are different here. And then it ends with a challenge of a match this coming week in Spain on Raw.
In Barcelona.
Which will be a special start time if you didn't know.
Yes.
It'll be live at 3 p.m., I believe.
At 3 p.m., yes. I was, we'll talk more about that off the pod, but I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be really fun and exciting. And speaking of fun and interesting, next we had Braun Strowman versus Solo Sikoa. First thing, big dogs got to eat.
Big dogs do got to eat.
Big dogs got to eat. Woof, woof, woof.
I was going to say, the only thing that I liked Pat McAfee doing on Raw was when he would yell about that being one big SOB whenever Braun Strowman would come out. That's really one of the only things I've liked from McAfee.
385 pounds?
Huge. So before they even start, they show us a reminder, right, that Solo has screwed Strowman twice recently, right? They were the distraction that Carmelo Hayes used to pick up the win Eddie Guerrero style last week. And I believe the other one was a qualifying match for Elimination Chamber. They came out and they screwed him with that as well. Early in the match, like, I thought it was something that might like build to over the match. Pretty early on, Solo gets brought up for a Samoan drop.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be a long thing because like he goes for it and like goes to pick him up and can't, and goes to pick him up and can't. and then just gets him.
Yeah.
So like I thought that was gonna be like a match struggle where it's like, oh, Braun gets a little weaker, maybe he can, but they just hit it early and it looks great.
Yeah, no, it was. I think something again that was really something that's so impressive about wrestling in general is like when two big guys like that are just throwing each other around. Braun Strowman's 385 pounds. Solo Sikoa's 250 pounds. Like 6'2" still. Just incredible stuff going on. They did go into the crowd. Well, they were comes out of the ring. They both come out of the ring, and then they're smacking each other against the announcer table, and then my worst nightmare as somebody who works in production is they start going towards all the technical stuff, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, so in the match, Tongaloa comes out and just jumps Braun while he's pinning Solo. And then he just beats both their asses. Then Jacob comes out. Then, like Charlie said, they kind of have their moment of their stare down and they go after it. Jacob tries to jump through the ropes. And did you see him get caught on the ropes and almost break his neck because he got his feet caught?
That was a little scary.
Yeah, Strowman slammed him on the announce table like you said, but the best part was that Solo didn't sell it. Solo stood right back up and just screamed, ah, at him, like the classic no-sell. So they fight into the crowd, and then they're on top of this, like, tipped-over transport container. Like, I don't even know what else to call it, like, but it was sitting, like, upright instead of, like, flat where you would actually put stuff in it. And then, so Fatu gets him up for the Samoan drop. So I think they're both going off the back of this thing through the table. Like I figured that's the plan. But Braun reverses, right, and choke slams Jacob through a table underneath, right, like below them.
Yeah. Fantastic. Lots of table action on Friday night.
Love a good table spot.
We love table spots.
Philadelphia, home of ECW, very much known for the table spot.
Yeah, no, and hopefully we'll have some more stuff about ECW in the future. That's definitely an area of interest for me. Yeah, can you remind me who won that match?
So Braun Strowman won technically because of the disqualification when Tongaloa jumped him while he was pinning Solo.
Gotcha.
So DQ win. They jumped to the back real quick to talk to LA Knight. And LA Knight said, all gas, no brakes. Jacob Fatu's fat keister going through that table.
Did you see the meme that I posted to the show Instagram story?
Which one? Yeah, I watched all of them.
Louisiana Night. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Louisiana Night. Which I hope they do that in France.
That would be super cool, actually.
That would be really funny. But they're going to do LA Knight, yeah. But I would hope they localize it.
That'd be cool. LA Knight then goes to say, he just needs one moment and one time to do it, and he's like, this is the place of rebirth, birth of our country, rebirth of my U.S. title run.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, just like.
Yeah, we'll talk more about La Knight later in the show. Going into Chelsea Green versus Meechin? Yeah. They had a street fight for the women's title, right? For the United States women's title?
Yes, for the women's U.S. title.
Women's U.S. title. Okay. Thank you. And this was a street fight. And both ladies came out in homages of various forms. So Chelsea Green came out as Cactus Jack, which is one of the three faces of Mick Foley, along with Mankind and Dude Love. I only knew about Mick Foley from 30 Rock and the episode where Mankind is in Jenna's entourage, and he has a sock puppet.
Mr. Sacco.
Mr. Sacco, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
That was part of the bit. That was part of this whole thing. No, that was absolutely what he would do. And he had it, and his one finisher was the mandible claw, where he'd basically stick two fingers in your mouth and basically choke you out like that. And he'd put the sock on. But the thing was he always had the sock just stuffed in his sweatpants because he wore just sweatpants and a t-shirt to wrestle. So he just pulled out his sweatpants and pulled. We will have to do a deep dive on Mr. Sacco for one of our other things because I absolutely love that. Also, just love that it's a street fight. Same thing as no disqualifications or no holds barred or any of those other 10 match types that all just mean there's no disqualifications.
You can just do whatever you want. Just like don't seriously injure or maim each other. And then Michin came out with a trash can full of weapons in the Brandon Graham jersey. You want to tell me a little bit more about that as our resident Eagles fan?
I actually don't know why she chose a Brandon Graham jersey. Again, like he was on his goodbye tour this year.
Can you refresh the audience on who Brandon Graham is?
So Brandon Graham is a defensive end for the Eagles. As far as this year, he tore his tricep earlier in the year and pushed really hard to come back and end up playing in the Super Bowl. Actually ended up re-tearing that same tricep during the game, right? Says it was completely worth it. Most people know him because he was the one who got the strip sack on Tom Brady in the Eagles Pats Super Bowl, where he was the one that got that strip sack near the end of the game. So probably alluding to that. And then the trash can of weapons is something that would happen in ECW. Guys like New Jack would bring out things full of weapons, right?
Yeah.
And again, we get the same thing they would do, where she just starts throwing them all in the ring, has a hard-ass time throwing the trash can in the ring like they always do. They always have such a problem throwing the trash can so high to get it in the ring.
It felt like in Grand Theft Auto where you have like the wheel of weapons.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of weapons, what was in the trash can?
So there were chains, which looked very plastic.
Chains.
There was a kendo stick. There was a crowbar.
A crowbar?
And I was sitting there, and that crowbar came out, and I'm like, this has got to be Chekov's crowbar.
Crowbar.
You got to hit somebody with this crowbar. I don't care if it's like super gimmicked and it sounds horrible. I need to see someone get hit with it. And unfortunately, they didn't use it. They didn't get back to it. But it was a good little throw out there. I got excited for it. I popped for it. So it starts early with a backdrop onto the chains, which one wasn't even onto it. They like sat in front of it. They kind of sat back into it like.
Well, there was even like I noticed a part of the chains, like Michin was pulling it out, and there was like a 6 foot length of chain, and then there was like a little like foot part of chain. I think it like broke in the when she threw it up or something. There was definitely something broke as on the way.
So
in,
they like bounced off.
Transit.
Yeah, they bounced off the ring rope, and like if they were real chains and actually heavy, they wouldn't have like bounced all the way up in the freaking air and then fallen.
True.
On the outside, Michin starts biting her finger. I should say starts biting Chelsea's fingers.
Yes.
Which was wild. Again, that's the kind of thing you expect from like
Michin
a weird
bit
like
my finger.
from a weird street fight, right? And then we get our first table tease. Like you knew it was going on the second. We want tables. We want tables.
Okay, so speaking of chants, right? I feel like Philadelphians were real. It's really easy to get us in a tizzy via chanting, and I mean there was multiple opportunities or multiple times through the night where Michin comes out in the Eagles jersey, and you could hear it in the broadcast. EAGLES Eagles. Just a quick anecdote. The night the Birds won a few months ago, we were at Levington and Ridge up in Roxborough, and I was like the one guy chanting. Hello, Choo Choo. I was the one guy chanting, and I just start EAG, and then I just like slowly stop, and then everybody else would pick it up, and I was like, these rubes.
I'm gonna say it's powerful. It's powerful to be the one that starts it.
If you're, I'm sure if you're anywhere traveling like with Eagles fans, you can easily just start it and be like, okay, cool, these are my people.
So there was a point where Chelsea like kind of ties up Michin and like kind of like drags her around, like slamming her off stuff and like pulling her into the post and all. That was interesting. And then there was a point where Michin does get it undone. I think just from like wiggling. There is no like, oh, I figured it out or anything.
And she was like doing it with her teeth too.
Yeah, she was like biting it like
And I was like, that can't be metal because that would have hurt like hell.
Yeah, that would have hurt so bad. And then so Chelsea like leans over to grab her. And she hits her with the fire extinguisher. Let me even specify, sprays her, which is even better with the fire extinguisher.
Right in the face.
Right in the face. And after she's done, she desk pops, like shoots them in the air, like, yeah.
The desk pop is an incredible reference.
Thank you. So after Chelsea is down from the fire extinguisher,
Yeah.
she goes back to get the table again.
Table.
As she's grabbing the table from by the ring, she gets jumped by Piper Niven,
Yes.
who looks like crap, who still looks beat up as hell
Yeah.
from her match. Like looks looks so bad, but like jumps her, starts beating her up, gets Chelsea back up. Chelsea hits one of my favorite things of the whole night, goes coast to coast with the trash can, meaning that Chelsea stood on the one set of ropes and jumped across the ring to the other corner.
Yeah.
And dropped kick a trash can into Michin with Piper holding it there. So after that, BFAB comes out, right? BFAB is going more and more into this story as far as like this connection to Charlotte Flair. So BFAB here is starting to link up with Michin a little bit. They've had some other backstage segments. I'm sure that'll be kind of a new breed, old breed thing coming soon as BFAB gets some more looks here. Because BFAB comes out and jumps Piper with a kendo stick.
Have you ever been hit by a kendo stick?
I have not.
It hurts.
I bet.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
So BFAB comes out, evens up the numbers, hits Piper with the kendo stick, and then Michin hits the long back attack with the trash can.
She hits it the long way.
So that puts the trash can over Chelsea Green and kind of does like a somersault cannonball into the trash can. They finally set them up on the table. Chelsea's up on the table. And as Michin is climbing the ropes, the table partially falls.
Yeah.
Like the one leg gives out and it tips.
Mm-hmm.
And she just looks at it, gives it the most Philly shrug, like, I'm already here.
I'm glad you said it because I was about to go there and be like, that was the most Philly shrug. I was just being like, it's halfway there.
Yeah, and then hits a senton through the table, right? Goes for the cover, but Alba Fire comes out and pulls her off the cover at 2.
Yep.
She then gets in the ring, hits Michin with a Canadian Destroyer onto a pile of chairs that's in the ring from an earlier spot, and then fully pulls Chelsea in for the cover and the win.
Dirty work. But the one thing at the end of that match was the shot at the end of the match was just accidental Renaissance.
Say more.
So I'm trying to remember the composition of the frame, but you had the ref on his knees with Chelsea Green, with Michin on the ground, right? Alba Fry and Chelsea Green in the foreground, just sort of plotting their next move.
That's interesting. I'll have to go back and look at that. I'm more of a sports but make it art kind of account guy, but accidental Renaissance, I might dig into that.
That's kind of the idea that I was going for. I don't know if you also saw this during your broadcast. That Arby's commercial with the fish sandwich.
I do not know what you're talking about now.
Okay, so I have a conspiracy theory about fast food fish sandwiches.
What you got?
And that they're only sold around Lent to court Catholic customers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the point. The no meat on Fridays and all that. Well, and then there was a letter circulating. And again, I have no idea if this is true, but it was so freaking funny from a bishop in Louisiana, and someone asked, "Well, does gator count as meat or as seafood?" And he's like, "Well, of course it's seafood. It's like God's bountiful gift." So gator is good for Fridays in Lent. Confirmed.
Have you ever actually had gator?
I have actually.
It's pretty good. Oh yeah, you've been down there. So, I love hardcore match. Michin, Chelsea Green, A+ from Charlie.
Yeah, no. Great match. A lot of fun stuff. Again, the Philly pandering will always get me. So, would have liked Michin to get the win. Like I originally thought she should have won that title in the first place, but hopefully they have something else cooked up for her.
Hopefully she was great. All right. Moving on, we had Cody coming on and talking for the first time since the Cena heel turn, since the shocking revelation at Elimination Chamber. Cody looked rough.
Yeah, he still has that black eye. He still has that black eye that may or may not be from Travis Scott. So now there's other reports saying, Travis didn't even touch him, blah blah blah. But yeah, he was not looking awesome. Like as soon as he walks out, the crowd is already chanting, "Cena sucks, Cena sucks."
We do love a chant.
We do. He gets a couple cheap pops and home of champions, Philadelphia.
Yep.
Right, hits the classic, "What do you want to talk about?" He says that his daughter asked him what happened to his face, and he had to lie to her.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, one day when she's old enough, I'll be able to tell her that this happened because his hero gave up. Because my hero John Cena gave up.
The gave up shirts.
Mm-hmm. And he calls out that he calls out a couple of things that Cena is known to do over time. So he says, I know at some point he'll say fine speech. During a lot of people's runs with Cena, at some point they'll be cutting a promo and John Cena will go fine speech and then absolutely toast him. That's basically that's basically a you're about to get it kind of thing from him. So he's like, I know we'll say that at some point. And then he also talks about the Dream Dusty Rhodes real quick, saying that he was actually afraid to perform in Philadelphia.
A lot of people are.
I've heard that more and more, and I kind of get it, but again, it's one of those things where if they like you, they love you.
Oh yeah.
And if they hate you, they probably also love you, but they're like, oh god damn you.
Well, like the Trey Turner thing last year, right? I think that's a
standing ovation.
I think that's a real sort of moment for Philly fans to look at and go hey, Philly fans are good people, Trey Turner. If you're not aware, Trey Turner, who's plays for the Phillies, he was kind of in a slump. He just wasn't hitting the ball, and some fans got online and they were just like, "Let's just cheer for Trey, right? Let's just next time he gets up, we'll just stand up, we'll applaud." And then literally, he the first at bat they do that, he stands up or he stands up, hits the ball. I think he hit a home run, right? He went yard.
I'm not sure, but that was a big turnaround for him. For his season, and there was a lot of talk of should we be more positive? It's well, should we cheer someone that's not doing their job? And the classic Philly brain rot radio.
WIP.
You can say that. You can say that again, brother. So getting back to Cody here. So again, he was saying his dad was actually afraid to perform in Philadelphia, but he's not because Philly chose him twice. Once way back when he was still Stardust, and then of course this past year at WrestleMania.
Well, when he had a mustache, I thought that was.
Oh, was it mustache?
Yeah, it was
mustache Cody. Oh, see, he's only Stardust to me. He's either this Cody Rhodes or he's Stardust. I'm sorry.
There's Dashing Cody Rhodes or something too.
Well, there was Dashing, and then he broke his nose and had to wear a mask, and he was Undashing Cody Rhodes. Again, the original Cody stuff is still really good when you go back and you look at it. And then he says, you also chose me the night of WrestleMania when I won, right? And the crowd embraced me.
To finish the story.
And then he finishes it with, again, one of Cena's old lines. Again, a really good callback here where he says, you want some? Come get some. Which was for a long time. Cena around the open challenge time and all that. So, again, a good callback. This is going to be interesting to see kind of what they can do to keep this pushing, especially if Cena is doing less dates as part of the heel bit.
Yeah.
So let's see what they can push.
Well, he is going to be in Brussels on Monday, on next Monday, so a week from today, Tuesday. Today's the 11th, and as we record this, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be another 3 p.m. start, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 12 Pacific. Got to do math. The one thing that I wanted to say is, Cody brought up that anecdote of John Cena talking about the weight, the belt gets heavier every day. And Cody, in the words of Giles Corey, says more weight. You know about Giles Corey, right?
No.
He was. I had it in my head last night when I wrote this, but he was one of the people killed during the witchcraft trials that inspired the Crucible. Yeah, he's in the Crucible. He's a major character in the Crucible.
Oh, wow.
And when they were killing him, they were executing him. They killed him by crushing him, and there was a point where he just said more weight. and they put on more stones. Yeah, no. The Puritans were brutal. History. And Cody Rhodes is personally my champion. One note that I did want to say is, okay, how many over under? There's like 19,000 people at Wells Fargo Friday night. How many were in a Philly tuxedo? And for the uninitiated, a Philly tuxedo is when you wear two items from Philadelphia sports teams. So it could be any two items of clothing, but usually typically it's like an Eagles jersey and a Phillies hat, or like a Sixers hat and maybe a Flyers jersey, Phil's hat. But it's always one of those. I'm gonna take the over at like probably like 9,500.
I'm just gonna go under because I think with the state of most teams, everyone was only wearing their Eagle stuff.
Really, you don't think Eagles Phillies spring training?
Dude, a lot of people are still very mad at the Phillies.
Yeah, no. The Phils aren't doing great in spring training either. So, but also whoever was wearing an Austin FC shirt, I saw you, and I'm after you. If you live in the area, I'm after you. All right, and then we had a fantastic little promo with RKO popping up, and he says the famous line, "I was playing Elden Ring, dude."
Yeah, so the Miz and Carmelo are talking backstage to the general manager, Aldis, and Melo says that Cody really fumbled at the 1 yard line with that rock offer, and how could he not take it? Like Charlie said, Randy comes in, and Melo's like, "Oh man, he's just getting back. Like he was just on the couch playing Fortnite for however many weeks," and Randy's like, "I was playing Elden Ring while I was going."
Fortnite's for kids, dude.
yeah, for kids, dude. And so they Aldis makes a match for RKO versus Carmelo Hayes next week. Randy Orton turns to him and says, "Don't fumble the bag, kid.
Don't fumble the bag." All right, Jimmy Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Will the Scottish King or the Scottish Warrior redeem himself here today or on Friday night?
Yeah, this was a pretty quick match. Like it was okay overall. Early Jimmy goes for a dive, gets clocked, and it just ends with Jimmy going for the splash. Drew moves out of the way, hits the ropes, and delivers a Claymore.
Yep.
Kind of very simple, very straightforward. Drew getting his get back here.
Mm-hmm.
But then after the match, Damian Priest comes out and jumps Drew. And I was surprised they actually let this go on the broadcast, where he said, "You should have killed me. I'll kill you."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll kill you. I'll kill you every week." So I was surprised. Normally, they're like, you can say whatever if you want to beat him up, like you can't say kill. So, but they let that go, and then classic horrible security and refs. We're breaking them up.
Oh
No! And then let them fight. Let them. Another chant, another great chant that was heard throughout the Wells Fargo.
Yeah. Let them fight. All right. Then we had back-to-back promos. The first one coming from Shinsuke Nakamura.
So Shinsuke, again, love his promos right now. There's actually a lot of different things out there about some people think his WWE contract might be up very soon and it's not re-signing. Some people are like, that's not true and he'll be back. So just kind of interesting side stuff there, which is interesting when we actually get to this match. So Shinsuke basically said, you have to accept the reality. The title's in my possession. He says there is no better place for your death than the place of the birth of the United States.
A lot of leaning into just Philadelphia historical stuff, which is just always good.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's easy.
At least they talked about that, not throwing batteries, I guess.
Yeah, throwing batteries or dirt bikes or, I don't know.
Snowballs at Santa.
Snowballs at Santa.
He deserved it. But he finished. Nope, breezing right over that. So he finished the promo really nicely, though, saying, "You will beg for mercy, but find none."
Pretty brutal. Pretty metal.
And then they, like Charlie said, they give the Street Profits just a little bit here. Basically, again, they have the title match against DIY next week on SmackDown, right? So lets them know that their days are numbered. They will bury any other team that gets in the way. Because, again, there have been multiple jumpings, interference, like that. And like how they always finish, they want the smoke.
Yeah. Will they get the smoke is the question.
They want the smoke.
They want the smoke. To finish up Friday night, we had LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Thank you. I finally got a good look at Shinsuke Nakamura's like entrance outfit, which is pretty rad.
Sick.
Yeah, no, the whole like the warrior helmet that's been like modified. Very cool. Very cool. Just immediately sliding under the ropes and just getting right at it.
So yeah, they go at it quickly here. Nakamura hits this weird, like, kind of cartwheel elbow, which is awesome. And there's one point where he slides under the ropes and hits a German suplex.
Mm-hmm.
The offside. Knight starts walking up on the barricade and then does a clothesline off it. And there was a point where I thought LA Knight Shinsuke dropped LA Knight on his head. They did this big back suplex off the top rope.
Yeah.
And I thought LA Knight like broke his neck. I thought his life was over. But again,
that wasn't the part where I thought LA Knight got that was the hardest hit on LA Knight.
Yeah, there are some other things later too. But again, I'll give him his flowers. One, for the big leaping elbow. Every time the elbow gets me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he jumped from the ring straight to the top rope to do that superplex, like that's always amazing to me, because not only can you jump that high and stick it, it's on the ropes that are moving and then go right into another move. And then I literally wrote in the rundown that I knew something fucky was coming. It was too weird. Like, so Shinsuke leaves to go get a chair because he's like, F this, because in championship matches, you cannot win the championship from a disqualification or a count out. It's called like champion's privilege or whatever.
Okay.
So if Shinsuke goes and gets himself disqualified, we lose the match, he's still the champion, whatever. So LA Knight blocks the chair shot, then he goes to hit him with the chair, right? And then the ref takes it, Shinsuke takes it again, the ref takes the chair from Shinsuke. And then one of my favorite wrestling things, Shinsuke missed the ref.
And the ref is Charles Robinson, a true OG of the WWE. There's something that I saw, and I'll post it on the Instagram account later. But there's a great Charles Robinson video where I was like, hell yeah, Charles.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great stuff. He's been around for a long time, done a lot of really fun stuff. So after that, right, ref's distracted. Shinsuke hits a Scorpio Rising.
Yep.
And then LA Knight ends up hitting his BFT onto a steel chair in the ring.
Yeah.
And then after he hits that, a new ref, like the classic ref sprints down the ramp, slides in, 1, 2, 3. And again, I just find it very funny that the second ref can watch LA Knight cheat, but then because he pushed the chair out of the ring, it's like it never happened, and we still get the 3 count. But we get the 3 count. LA Knight is once again your United States champ, right? With everybody saying LA Knight.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think of SmackDown?
I thought it was really good. I would have liked for a couple of the matches to maybe have a little more time.
The McIntyre Jimmy Uso match felt very quick, very rushed, very filler.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely could have done more there. I feel like there probably could have been a little more in the Tiffy verse Piper Niven match as well. They probably could have shortened up some of these town halls a little bit. But again, I get it. They're setting it all up for WrestleMania. And again, they basically, have just about 40 days here to kill, which we'll get to.
All right, awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about Raw at Madison Square Garden. And we're back. So after a pretty solid SmackDown on Friday night, we didn't have a PLE this weekend. There was an event. We'll talk more about it at the end of the show here. But Monday Night Raw comes up, and this was a big one because we were really hyping up the Punk Rollins matchup in the steel cage at Madison Square Garden. But really, before we get into it, folks, what a picture Raw was Monday night. Like, fantastic. I was really impressed with what happened with the main event and the end of the show.
Yeah, the show as a whole was really great that we'll get to in a little bit here. I liked a lot of the stuff they did with the arena. Madison Square Garden is very important to wrestling and WWE really specifically. We talked a little bit on last week's show. There's a history of some cage matches in MSG. They kind of went through a couple of those in the notes this week as well. And it's called by many and was mentioned on broadcast a handful of times that this is the mecca of professional wrestling, they say.
Well, because it's the mecca of professional basketball as well, right? Like, that's the...
If you say so.
Okay. All right.
I know that they say the Palestra here in Philly is the mecca for college basketball.
Yes, absolutely. I still haven't been to a game at the Palestra, which I need to rectify. With our new Big Five, but there's 6 teams, Big Ten nonsense.
So, and then they pull up a thing talking about WrestleMania, and it's 40 days away, and in my brain I immediately go, oh, it's just one Lent away.
Yeah, like, a period of 40 days should just be known as a Lent.
Just one Lent, a little more than a month. When it's like 5 or 6 weeks, like, it's a Lent.
It's a Lent. That I'm going to start using that. Yeah, it's going to take about a Lent for me.
Turnaround time's about one Lent.
About one Lent. All right, so the show Monday night started off with Jey Uso versus Grayson Waller.
Dude, I will never get tired of Jey Uso with the please hit my music.
Yeah, and the intro that they did where he's like running from the concourse into the stadium and then running down the stairs, incredible. He always pulls a kid out with the Yeet shirt on. Once again, Pat McAfee, stop saying Yeet. Just say, oh, yeah, yeet, and then get it over with. Don't yeet this, yeet that. Just, my gosh. Never want to hear it again.
So Jey Uso is going against Grayson Waller here. Now, I was really trying to think of when's the last time I saw Waller wrestle, and it might have been when him and Theory lost the tag titles like a small forever ago. I was really trying to remember. A very simple match in the beginning. Going into the first commercial break, Theory distracts Jey. And to go up before the commercial, we come back. They're really making Jey look weak. Like, Jey's really taking a beating here. It's kind of a weird thing, but again, that's kind of what Jey is. He's I'm down, but when I'm up, I am up. So another Theory distraction. Waller moves during the distraction, and Jey catches Jey mid-dive, and then like stun guns him on the ropes, like basically like bounces him off the ropes, like pulling his neck down on it. But it ends the same way that most of these Jey Uso matches do. He delivers a super kick to both of them, hits a spear on Waller, and wins.
Yeet.
Yeet. And it wouldn't be a heel tag team if after they lost, if Waller and Theory didn't jump him 2-on-1 and beat him down.
Austin Theory is asshole. Why Jey Uso hate?
Why Jey Uso hate?
Because Austin Theory's a bastard man.
So Jey cleans house on both of them, right? He hits the splash finally. He didn't hit that during the match. And then immediately jumped by Gunther. Right? Gunther locks in the sleeper, right? The same thing as always. He's got him gripped up. He's not letting go. They come out. Come on, Gunther. Come on.
Okay, something that you mentioned. Gunther puts him in the sleeper. And then I think McAfee said, call the NYPD. What do you think the NYPD does? They put people in sleeper holds. Like, they're watching this right now. They're sitting on the subway watching it on their phones, standing. Then we had a quick recap of the CM Punk Seth Rollins relationship. I felt like it was a really great summation.
No, this was a really awesome recap. Again, it really goes back to Punk leaving, Rollins saying he stayed through those hard times. This is the house that he built. CM Punk is known for having different really good lines throughout his promo. He talked about the pipe bomb promo last week. Another one that he stole is you'll find out your arms aren't long enough to box with God.
Wow.
I'm gonna say, yeah, that was. I actually looked it up earlier today. That's from a poem. If I were better at what I did, I would have wrote down who and what poem. But I did not. So in this one, CM Punk says, "If I had to live in my shadow, I would hate me too."
Again, just straight fire from Punk.
Just ultimate hater stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it reminded us Punk won on the Netflix premiere.
Yep. Cooked you January 6th.
Cooked you on January 6th. He said Punk eliminated Rollins from the chamber, but then Rollins got his revenge with the stomp that let Cena put in the STFU that passed out, that made CM Punk pass out. They show a picture of them like for the steel cage match, but it looks like that they're like behind a fence. And it just really gave me the vibe of two guys that hate each other but really need to break out of prison together. Like, I don't want to work with you and you don't work with me, but you're the only way we can get out of here.
Some Prison Break stuff.
Like, literally, I just looked at him like, this is crazy.
This is Prison Break. Quentin. And then we had a quick interlude. Jay backstage, recovering in the PT room, and the Alpha Babes showed up. I thought this was nice, but you have a great point. You know, if you're gonna come up and show up, why not during the match when you're getting when you're getting beat up 2-on-1 like that?
Or not even that. If they were like, we knew you could handle those two clowns, when Gunther puts him in a sleeper and won't let go, like literally in all caps and bold, I wrote, well, where were they then?
Where were you? Backstage. And then we had our podcast's number one heel, Logan Paul.
I can't lie. Him ripping that guy's shirt off was very funny.
It was pretty funny. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Totally a plan.
I know he wasn't smart enough to write that, but I'm glad that someone wrote that for him.
Somebody was, and he was cool with it too. Yeah, and he was just getting straight up booed throughout, which was so funny. Like, I mean, New Yorkers will give you a piece of their mind whenever whenever it's needed. And so New York, thank you so much. He said he will beat AJ Styles to the punch and call him out. And then he puts his soul out for sale.
Yeah, he says, Rock, consider my soul for sale, and that's after saying the name like Logan Paul makes people think of names like The Rock and Cena.
Yeah, The Undertaker. Like, okay, Logan. All right.
He so two things. First, when they talked about this last week, didn't they say this was going to be a match? When they talked about, I swear,
I thought
last
so,
week
yeah.
they said this was supposed to be a match this week and not just them barking at each other. I'll have to go back and check that.
Yeah.
And then two, I loved he called the crowd reggies. He's like, you reggies wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Like, what such a easy just heel, just, yeah, you're reggies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, get away from me, you reggies. Like, God dang it. That's so good.
Logan Paul pulls out his friend, comedian and podcaster Andrew Schultz. I don't know if you like Schultz. I'm not a big fan. To do a bump. Schultz does a pretty great job, honestly. But then running in comes AJ Styles.
AJ Styles comes in, makes the save, hits the phenomenal forearm. Again, one of my favorite moves in wrestling. And then Logan, I would never speak about CM Punk like this. Logan tucks his tail between his legs and is walking back up the ramp. And Punk, God damn, I can't stop talking about CM Punk. I'm sorry.
He's so excited.
He keeps telling Logan, get your ass back in the ring. You want to fight. Come here then. Oh, you're not gonna walk away from an opportunity. You're gonna run away from a fight. And then AJ just activates the cheap pop machine. Sends Schultz to the ropes, right? Throwing his arm up, pointing at him like the winner, right? Just activate the cheap pop machine.
Cheap pop machine.
Go burr.
I've been seeing clips of the AJ Styles Chris Van Fleet interview, and I've been meaning to watch that because it's been like the stuff in it so far has been fascinating. I didn't know TNA used a hexagonal ring.
Oh yeah, 6 sides. Their cage matches were 6 sides of steel, which is a great gimmick.
Oh, we love some alliteration.
We do.
Yeah. So, then we had a quick to hype up later in the show the EO versus Rhea highlight. And we'll see both of them later. But then it cuts to some TKO propaganda. TKO, of course, the the parent company of the WWE. They also own, I believe, a good chunk of UFC as well.
Yes.
And it was basically just a commercial for their new boxing enterprise, which they're doing in Saudi Arabia. And I mean, like, they say they're going to make boxing really interesting again. I don't know how you're going to do that. If you're going to have all the matches in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia, not a great place. All right, as we talked about last week, we have the New Day versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee Tornado Tag match. So we talked about tag matches earlier. What is there a difference between a tag match and a tornado tag?
So yes, a tornado tag means that all 4 men are legal. We mentioned earlier in a regular tag team match.
Wait, pause. They're legal?
So the legal man is the one for your team who's allowed to wrestle. There's only supposed to be one member of a team in a ring for a tag team match. You have your legal man, who is the one who actually is supposed to do the wrestling. That's why after they do a tag and a move, you'll see the ref tell the other guy, who is not the legal man or woman, to get out of the ring. So in a normal tag team match, only one person from each team will wrestle at a time. Tornado tag, there are no tags. All 4 men are live from the go, and it's also no disqualification and no count out.
Thank you. So yeah, we had Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee again versus New Day, who are Xavier Rhodes and Kofi. I don't know
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston. Thank you. And again, just 2 different styles here. You've got 2 luchadors against the New Day. Sucks. One thing I love luchador wrestling just because it's just so fluid and very very fluid. It all feels kind of like a dance in some ways, where they're just moving around the ring and throwing each other around. I really love it.
Yeah, I feel that lucha is, and again, not people don't like this word or really, but like it's more choreographed. Like there's more where you're actually working with your partner.
Yeah.
If you go back and you watch like the WCW like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero matches, like constantly called some of the best matches out there because they're so fluid when they work together. And again, through these different arm drags and things they're doing, like both people have to know what's going on. It's not like when big man pick up little man and throw him.
Yeah,
it's 2 guys like really working all these different spots, right? Remembering them all in a row, and again, just being the unbelievable athletes they are to get it done. What I did love though is there's a point where Ray and Dragon both go up to go do like the 10 punches, and you can see them each like looking over their shoulder to see if the other one is ready. Like it's like, is Ray ready? And Ray's not looking, so he turns back, and then Ray turns around. Oh, all right, Dragon's not looking. Hold on, I guess we're doing this. Like, and then they finally sync up their 10 punches. Another table. We had to get some table spots coming through Madison Square Garden. Dragon Lee hits this double stomp on Kofi Kingston that I thought that should have caved his chest in. Like, just both feet crushes him. They end up setting the table up outside the ring, and Dragon hits a big Hurricane Rana on Xavier Woods, and the table kind of breaks. Like, he kind of like sat on it ass first, and it like cracked but didn't break through. And then it kind of like tipped over and broke with him. It still looks super cool. Kofi tries to cheat. He rolls up and grabs the tights.
Well, what do they say on the commentary? They say eat table Xavier Rhodes, and then almost immediately after he eats pole. Pause. Are we still doing phrasing?
So Kofi tries to grab the tights, which I guess isn't cheating since it's a no disqualification match, but still, that's fake. Ray counters. Kofi dodges a 619. Ray dodges a Trouble in Paradise. Ray then actually sets him up and hits the 619. He goes for the splash. Kingston gets his knees up on the splash and goes to a quick roll up. And I thought the match was over. Dragon Lee barely came in and saved the day there.
Right. But then we had a masked assailant pop in, runs in, attacks the luchadors, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, and then runs back out of the ring into the crowd and off our screens.
I need to talk about this real quick, though. He picked up Ray at one point right in front of that like prime hydration station.
Yep.
And I thought he was going to German Ray right into the whole tray. And I was like, and then he took like 2 steps forward and hit one. And I was like, oh. And I was like, that would have been so sick. Not what happened. He runs away. And then commentary actually kind of spoon feeds us, for what's coming up. And it's like, well, who's been gone for this long? Who's been trying to learn Lucha Libre? Right? In the classic, Michael Cole as the face being like, we know who did this. And Pat McAfee being like, we don't know. Circumstantial. We don't know.
And this will come back later. We'll have a callback this will all come back later. But
and
the line that I loved from McAfee was McAfee said, "It could be anyone, terrorists these days." Yikes, Pat!
I did not write that one down.
Some clear political analysis from Pat McAfee. Broken clock twice right a day.
Twice right a day.
Twice.
So, New Day wins off that distraction, that beat up of them along the outside here. And then we jump back to the Judgment Day Clubhouse.
The Judgment Day bitch session.
One and the same.
Yes.
One and the same. They basically talk about Breaker beating them separately, right? All the different things that have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
We find out that Bayley versus Raquel is tonight for the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
And then Finn comes in. He's all upset, this and that. And Dom tells Finn that he got him an Intercontinental title shot against Braun next week. Mm-hmm. He actually gives Dom like a big hug, and I was actually surprised. First kind of humanizing we've seen out of him in a minute. But what's Liv say after Finn leaves?
She says she doesn't believe in Finn.
We only believe in Joe Hendry.
Say his name.
And he'll appear. So that's interesting. You see the cracks developing more and more there.
And I do want to shout out Carlito. An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Carlito's
Smart
cool.
Man. Smart man. All right, we have our champion, Cody Rhodes, come out once again.
What do you want to talk about?
So again, MSG, the center of the pro wrestling universe. The WWE is based in Connecticut. They do a lot of shows in New York City, Madison Square Garden especially. Hyping up his match next week with John Cena in Brussels, Belgium, and then drops the Cena Madison Square Garden lore. Won the U.S. title there. Returned to win the Royal Rumble. The crowd just kind of went wild there, chanting "Cena sucks." What else were they chanting?
I was trying to make it out because I couldn't tell if there was like that counter group in the crowd that was still trying to say like "Let's go Cena," or if it was like. But it also sounded like some people were saying CM Punk for some reason. Like they're still mad about him getting screwed last week. Like I tried a couple times to try and listen to it, and I couldn't. Like the one was definitely Cena sucks. I couldn't catch the response one because that's usually when the commentary really came in. And
Cody even egged on the crowd to be like, "Hey, this is Netflix. You can kind of say asshole if you want."
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing is Cody starts talking.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, says, "Sit down, you moron."
Mm-hmm.
And talks about how John Cena went on, put himself in the Elimination Chamber saying, that's what's best for the business.
Yeah.
And then Cody said, no one defines what's best for business more than John Cena. There's a lot of, heat and all in the past about when John Cena, whenever there was someone on their way up, John Cena would kind of kick him down. He was the top guy. And then Cody refers to the 17th championship as a delusion and a fantasy.
Yeah, and he says, "John, I'm the captain now." And I put in our notes, if you've seen Captain Phillips, the meme. Look at me. I am the captain now.
I really hated that.
You really?
I get it. I just feel like it's been done. How old is that movie at this point?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's like a 14-year-old movie.
I was going to say
that movie can almost drive.
But it was weird. As I was watching this, it seemed like they were kind of maybe soft launching Cody heel a little bit.
I think it's kind of
Some
like
the things he was saying was a little like beyond just like the I'm the good guy and I'm doing good, where I was like,
maybe what I was thinking, it's like an anti-hero sort of thing. Like have you ever seen, this is going to be a poll because I haven't actually seen the movie, but do you know about Old Boy?
No.
So Old Boy is a movie about it's by, I believe, Park Chan-wook. It's a Korean film. It was remade by Spike Lee in the U.S. But it's about this guy, and he gets imprisoned in a box for like 17 years. Japanese horror movies are crazy. He gets imprisoned in a box for like 17 years, a long time. And then finally, when he's released, he just like goes on this like mission of vengeance and retribution, because he's just like, well, like I've been screwed over, right? And so I think that's potentially what they're setting up as, like Cody as like an anti-hero type character, where like he wins the championship, but then what did he really win? Kind of riffing on what we were talking about last week with Kevin. But like he won the undisputed championship belt, and then like the next big thing that happens to him is basically like this Cena heel turn, right? And this moment that should have been like Cody saying no to The Rock and saying, hey, this is for the people. I wrestle for the people. I gave my soul a long time ago, et cetera, et cetera. And more of a not chaotic, but like more neutral character.
That makes sense, and I really like what you're saying with the idea that he makes this big decision to say no to The Rock, and that's not even the news. The news is the John Cena heel turn. Like he made, the decision for the people and did the right thing for no credit.
Exactly.
I like that. I really do like that.
And I mean, I think there's a serious chip on you could seriously have a chip on your shoulder about that too, especially because you've got some clown like Travis Scott coming in there and giving you that big black eye, and I mean, ruptured eardrum is nothing. It isn't nothing. It sucks. So, I love Cody on the mic, and again. He came into MSG wearing a fantastic pastel suit, that pastel green. He's got his Easter colors ready. So, following up after Cody's quick town hall, we had Bayley versus Raquel for the number one contender for the women's Intercontinental title. You heard it here first. Bayley is going to win with the Bayley Belly.
Bayley has this move, the Bayley to belly. It's a belly to belly suplex, but whenever she does it, it's called the Bayley to belly, and it's like a signature move that she does. A lot of wrestlers have these signature moves that they do, and they always try and pin someone, but like it's not their finisher, so it's never going to end a match. So before this match started, I'm like, I bet it's a squash match, which is just like a quick one-sided match. Like I bet Bayley's just gonna bury her, they'll do some angle with Liv, and they'll move on. So I called my shot that said that she would win with the Bayley to belly.
You called it. Well, you
I attempted to.
You attempted to make a call there. You also put in here, you can hear Raquel call her Pamela at the start of the match. We love a little break.
Yeah, her Bayley's shoot name is Pamela, and people have done that before. Tiffy did a couple months ago where she called her Pam, but you can hear her call her Pamela at the beginning of the match.
And then I felt like the action there was pretty good. Bayley did a lot of work, frankly, and then at the end, the Judgment Day just kind of came in, messed around, ruined it for Bayley, let Raquel take it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. They do some good back and forth. There's some time that Raquel's on top. She does like the airplane spin spot and does like a really nice fallaway slam. There's a time where Bayley hits like an elbow as Raquel's like halfway hanging out the ring. She went up, she did a full elbow drop. Liv and Dom both interfered, and Bayley fights them off. Bayley tries to do a dive outside to Raquel, gets caught and absolutely dumped on the announce table.
Yes.
Then she catches a big boot, and I think what was a choke slam? I was trying to see, it wasn't a great angle. I believe a choke slam, and we have a new number one contender. Raquel
Rodriguez. Yeah. And then we had a quick cut to backstage with Chad Grable. Obviously, I believe it was Kathy Kelly, right? I
believe so.
Is the announcer or the reporter there interviewing Chad? Chad feigns ignorance. He's innocent. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, but we just saw a man dressed exactly like you were, with your exact same build, wearing a luchador mask, a red, white, and blue luchador mask that says American Made on it, the name of your stable. That's not you. And then, as Chad is trying to plead his case for us, in the background, what do we see? WWE security, MSG security. We are whisking away the masked assailant from earlier in the red, white, and blue American-made mask. So, is it Chad? Maybe. Who knows? Is it a body double?
Yeah, this is some kind of red herring crap, like Saw flashback. This is when the game actually started.
Mm-hmm.
Junk. The Saw movies are great. Don't get at me. I do love Saw movies.
Moving on here, we have Io Sky being interviewed by Michael Cole. She says that it's a dream to be here at MSG. She says that she proved the impossible is possible. The chant is, or the crowd is chanting, "You deserve it," which was she absolutely deserved. She's fantastic. And then Bianca comes out. She asks Bianca, does she think she changed the outcome of the match? But then, who comes out?
It's Mommy.
It's Mommy time. Rhea joins Bianca and Io in the ring, and asks, just quite frankly, like, what was the reason there?
So she asked, "What's the reason?" Because last week during the championship match, Bianca was ringside scouting who would be her WrestleMania opponent.
Yep.
Her and Rhea getting some pushing and shoving. Match continues. Rhea gets distracted and loses. So as she's coming out here and asking Bianca, she's implying, why is the reason you were really at ringside?
Mm-hmm. Rhea says she should have just handled her business with Naomi and Jade. Io on the side is like, hey, this is my moment. Let me have this. While Rhea and Bianca both push her away. Io
They're
just,
like pie facer.
They stiff arm her, and then Io just smacks both of them into one by one, and then throws them both out of the ring. Just a remind both of them that she's still the champion. All right. Wrapping up Monday Night Raw on March 10th, we had the main event, CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the steel cage, Madison Square Garden. They both come out, and then just even before they can close the cage door, they just start going at it.
They start absolutely brawling. They're hammering each other, and then they get into some of their classic stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk goes for that running knee.
Yep.
Up against the turnbuckle. Rollins catches him and slams him so hard into the side of the steel cage.
Yeah.
And then after that, it became pretty clear that the match wasn't really about winning. It was about punishing each other.
Yeah, beating the hell out of each other. The one thing, there was a lot of animosity, a lot of middle fingers, lots of swearing. If you start Raw late, if you're not watching it live, they when Punk and Rollins were flipping each other off, they just had a black screen.
Oh, that was on the live too.
Boring.
Yeah, we didn't even get it in real time.
Boring. It also was bleeping out CM Punk saying some naughty words. Boo, hiss. And they were just like, Rollins, I felt, started out really strong into the fight's first break. But then at one point, Rollins had opened up the cage for Punk to leave so that he could win. Punk could win the match, get it over with, etc., etc.
Again, right? The idea that doesn't matter that I lost. That would be you saying, I leave, I lose, like, I'm afraid. They both at one point do that. When CM Punk does it to Seth Rollins, Punk also kind of takes another look at the door, and Rollins says, like, basically, like, if you want the house I built, like, come beat me for it.
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool. Like, again, their actual, like, in-ring banter, I feel like that they both do a really good job of performing in the ring more than just their moves. Like, again, going back to Elimination Chamber. Die! Like, that makes a difference. That makes a big difference in these characters. So it gets to a point where Punk drops a top rope elbow.
Yes.
And then drops another one.
He did the double finger and then mouthed FU, and then did off the top rope, and then Punk climbed to the top of the cage.
Oh my God. So they both climbed to the top of the cage, and
Yeah.
they are just throwing hands at the top of the cage,
Mhm.
back and forth. They're both kind of doing the whoa, oh no, I hope
Yeah.
I don't fall. Oh no.
The really cool thing with that is the drone footage, because like before drones, you would have a crane, right?
Mhm.
And that crane would take up so much space, and there's so many guys that need to operate that. So many operators on a crane. You need somebody to like that actually hold the camera and like move the crane itself, and there's a couple different things. But with the drone, you can just hover it right over there, and I thought that was so cool. It really added a whole new level of realism to it. Whereas like a crane shots do feel a little, for me at least, they feel very artificial because it's like very obvious to what you're doing. But with a drone, it's like very realistic. I liked it a lot.
So they're both straddling the top of the cage, fighting. Rollins ends up back in the cage with CM Punk still kind of hanging out on the top.
Yep.
Rollins then superplexes Punk from the top of the cage.
Even talking about it right now, my back hurts.
That is a nasty freaking bump. Like
Yeah.
that. And our first of many to come of a 2.99 kick out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a false finish, whatever you want to say.
My favorite was, did you see the one shot where Seth he's got Punk in the chokehold, but he like flips his hair out of the way so you can see his face?
No,
I thought that was
I'll
so
look back at
funny.
that.
That was so funny. You had the 2.99 countouts, but stomps back and forth. There was a point where I was like, "Oh, Punk is gonna flip around and his nose is just gonna be flat."
Yeah, they were getting after it. They each stole each other's moves.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins hits a GTS.
Yep.
CM Punk hits a stomp.
Yeah.
And then there's one point where Rollins catches a GTS and then puts him in the STFU.
Mm-hmm.
And then Punk rolls it over into his Anaconda Vice.
Yeah.
Which is an old submission he used to use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one cool thing kind of about the match, and I think it just, again, shows something that these guys think about, is that Rollins grabs the rope right away.
Yeah.
But in a steel cage match, there are no rope breaks. Like, that doesn't do anything for him besides give him leverage. But again, something that, like, any wrestler, like, a natural instinct is going to be to grab the rope. Like, I think that's something they purposely thought about and did.
Mm-hmm.
So Rollins gets out, hits another stomp, another 2.99999 count out.
Yeah.
And then hits one off the rope, avalanche style. Well, tries to, right? Gets knocked off the rope and then into another go to sleep. I thought they were going to end it like this, and I was already pre-mad. I thought that was going to be the ending, and I was like, God. But it wasn't.
It wasn't. We had another fantastic twist ending. I mean, like, this is something where I felt like, wow, like this match was already like 10 minutes of just like Punk and Rollins going at it, just like 10 years of animosity, 10 years of just like bad feelings, bad blood between the two of them. And then who comes out and pulls Seth Rollins out of the ring?
It's the return of our tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
And so this is some bad blood that goes back even further than the stuff with CM Punk between Rollins and Roman Reigns with OTC. Can you fill me in just quickly on that?
The Cliff Notes version is they were part of a team with a guy, John Moxley, who at the time went by Dean Ambrose. They were the Shield. And after a long time, the Shield broke up, and Seth Rollins was the one that swung the first chair of that breakup. There was a lot of that story involved with Roman and Cody last year as well. That outfit that Seth came out on WrestleMania Night 2 was actually like the Shield attire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A little homage to that.
Yes.
So there's still bad blood, way back from that.
Yeah.
And then again, I believe they went at it a little bit in the Royal Rumble as well.
Yes, indeed you do. Yeah, so Roman has his revenge. He pulls Rollins out of the ring. Rollins wins because his feet touch the ground outside the ring. Everybody's shocked. Roman hits Rollins with a Superman punch and then a spear. The crowd's chanting OTC, OTC. Roman hits a stomp. Fantastic stuff.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back. Hopefully, we'll get him on some more shows, a little more consistent. Like, I don't know if he's back full time, but again, to see him coming back into the fold is exciting. It's been a lot easier to love him since he's dropped the title. But then he goes and he sets Seth up on the stairs, and he's going to do like a stomp on the stairs. Oh, right, because that's what happened at the Royal Rumble after the match, right? He set him up on the stairs. So he was going to do that. The classic, the suits come out. Whoa. Whoa, everyone settle down here. Settle down here.
And I was like, oh, they're actually serious. So,
but before they can, inevitably break apart like they always do, Roman turns to the ring and sees Paul Heyman consoling CM Punk in the ring. Roman gets a little jealous.
A little hanky.
He looks like you just kicked his dog. He goes in and just like immediately pulls them apart.
Yeah.
And hits Punk with this vicious spear. Like, it looked like he was like, shoot mad, like, I am gonna put everything into this.
Yeah.
And just speared the hell out of him, and Paul Heyman looked terrified.
Oh, absolutely. So I love Paul Heyman. I'm so excited for this next evolution, or this next chapter for Seth, for Punk, for Roman, for Paul. It's going to be really exciting. So, what did you think of Raw? As I said earlier, I was amazed. I loved it. Very happy.
I thought it was great. They did a lot of good stuff for Madison Square Garden, specifically setting up a lot of things for WrestleMania. Again, only 1 Lent away. Less than a Lent now.
39 days. Something like that. Yeah. All right. So we'll be back and wrap up the show here. Again, thank you so much for joining us on The C Show. All right, we're wrapping up here on the C Show. Wanted to shout out another big wrestling event that happened over the weekend. I noticed some stuff on Blue Sky and on Instagram, and I just wanted to shout out AEW Revolution. A couple big things that I wanted to point out that I'm going to be looking for as I watch AEW Revolution this week, at some point this week. The first off is AJ and Big Justice. I have a minor ironic obsession with them. I find them just fascinating in the sense of like social media superstardom, 5 big booms, boom, 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 boom. Like Big Justice or AJ's background as a wrestler. The family is really interesting too. They lived in New Jersey up until like 2021, and then they moved down to Florida. Interesting. MJF, Maxwell J. Friedman, one of the house's favorites here at the C Show. He was defeated. I saw some really interesting stuff there about some of his character stuff, so I'm a little interested in that. But really, what really drew my attention to this is the Righteous Gemstones crossover. AEW is, of course, on Max, also known as HBO, etc., etc. The Righteous Gemstones, the new season 4 is coming out, has come out, and Adam Devine and Tony Cavallero were both at AEW Revolution. Tony Cavallero was wearing one of the greatest shirts ever. It's made by a local guy here in Philly, or in the Philly area, Pink Bike Ralph on Instagram. Tony's shirt said, "Remember that time RoboCop shot that guy in the dick?" Do you remember that time? I love RoboCop. And then the last thing that I wanted to shout out at AEW Revolution was Timeless Tony Storm defeating Mariah May for the Women's World Championship at the AEW. Listen, I think you're really going to want to watch that. There was a lot of color, a lot of action going on in that. It was like a pin anywhere sort of thing. There was a lot of stuff leading up to it, so I'm really interested in looking into that. Tony Storm seems like a really awesome wrestler to watch as well.
Yeah, that was what I saw the most about after
Mhm.
the fact was that match. Again, some people saying it was one of the most violent they've seen,
Yeah.
but a lot of people saying like this is peak cinema for wrestling. Apparently, it was like a very well told story within the match,
Mhm.
and I already saw the one clip of the end where
Yeah.
they literally put that up. So that is the one show on this card. I mean, the one match on this card. I will definitely make sure to go back and watch.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all we've got. That's all I've got, at least, here on the C Show. I wanted to ask you, Connor, looking forward to Friday this week, SmackDown, and also Raw in Belgium next week. What are you looking forward to?
I think the Randy Orton Carmelo Hayes match is going to be really interesting. I'm interested to see if Barcelona will sing to oh no wait no sorry SmackDown is in Barcelona, right? No, Raw's in Barcelona. SmackDown.
Raw is in Belgium. I think SmackDown's in Barcelona.
Oh, okay. So yes, I want to see if the crowd in Barcelona will sing to Randy Orton. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, those European audiences love chanting.
That's going to be very exciting. I'm interested to see what else happens with CM Punk. Every time I just can't stop thinking. For some reason, anytime I think of Logan Paul, my body says you can't say Logan Paul, just say CM Punk.
You can't say it. No.
So I'm interested to see what develops in the Logan Paul and AJ Styles storyline. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah.
And I want to see if the Street Profits can get the titles off DIY. I would love for them to finally get their flowers.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to Cena and Cody having some mic time on Monday and seeing how far where this progresses. Of course, Roman and Paul, seeing where that storyline goes, the Tribal Chief. Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. As always, it's an exciting time for wrestling right now. So we're just happy that you're here listening with us, wherever you may be. So, well, thanks again for joining us on The C Show. Again, you can find us online at The C Show. That's C as in Connor, or C as in Charlie, SHOPOD. That's on Instagram and on Blue Sky. We're also on Facebook if you still use that. You can find me on Blue Sky and on Instagram, or at Blue Sky at charlesfstewart.com. And then I'm on Instagram at charlesfstew.
On Blue Sky, you can find me at BSDOJ. The name is Play.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us on The C Show, and we'll see you again next week.
On the road to WrestleMania.